Hello, it's Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today I have a video for you that I hope that you will watch many times so that you can kind of get used to what I'm saying, okay? So this video, we're going to be talking about why that thing in your life that you hate the most is actually your biggest blessing, okay? And this is not necessarily a teaching for everyone at every level of consciousness, okay? So if as you're listening to this video, if this makes you feel horrible, okay? If this makes you feel blamed, if this makes you feel shame, if this makes you feel guilt, if this makes you feel like I'm telling you that you're wrong, turn the video off, okay? Really, turn me off, don't watch it. Because this is one of these teachings that when it's pertinent for you, it will resonate for you. And when it's not pertinent for you, it will probably feel terrible, okay? And I don't want you to feel terrible. So really listen to yourself. Really listen to your internal guidance. And of course, like if it just feels like uncomfortable and like, oh, that's like, yeah, okay, right? Like that's definitely a step forward in my thinking, and I can tell that I want to go there and that I want to be there. But it's like there's a little internal struggle. That's okay, right? Stick with it then. But if it really if you plummet into guilt or shame or fear, turn it off. Okay? So that's my little preface to this video. So when we look at life, okay, and you've probably heard a lot of spiritual teachers at this point say things like, we need to develop radical acceptance, and that everything that is happening in your reality is happening for a reason, and that it needs to be there, and that it's not about changing your external reality to suit your needs, but rather it's about learning how to embrace what is happening in order to move forward on your path. And this is one of the most profound and deep teachings that will, when you truly internalize it, will profoundly change the way that you experience life, okay? When you move into a state where you are capable of accepting your reality the way that it is, it doesn't mean that you no longer do anything, okay? It doesn't mean that you no longer take action. It doesn't mean that you become a passive individual that never does anything, okay? Usually quite the opposite. It generally, when you truly accept reality for how it is, what happens is you become consciously aware of all of the things that you actually have power over, and this completely augments the way that you're able to show up in your life. But that's kind of for another video. In this video, I just want to say that, well, no, that's actually totally part of this video, so we'll probably go into that. So as we hear these things about, accepting what is, right? Most of us can get there in 70 or 80% of our lives, and then there's those one or two things that are just horrible for you, right? There are just a couple of things that are probably recurring issues in your life that you just cannot accept, and that you just hate about yourself, or that you hate about life, okay? So for instance, right, in my life, the very first thing that this lesson came through to me was with my body, right? I just, for literally from day one till I was 20, whatever I was, and when I had that revelation in Thailand, it was like I hated my body, and I could not accept that this is how my body looked, and that this is what my body was going to be like, and that I could not accept that I could be happy and in the body that I had at the same time, right? It was like, until my body changes, I cannot be happy. This is the thorn in my side, and until this changes, I'm always going to be miserable, right? And I think everyone has one or two things in their life that are like that, right? Their job, your relationship, your financial status, your relationship status, your friendships, your all of these things, right? We all have something in our lives that we say, unless and until this shifts, I cannot be happy, right? And this thing can kind of shift and change throughout your lifetime, right? You might even, as you kind of look back, realize that you've had several things in your life that at the time you were like, I can't be happy until this thing shifts. and then you waited and waited and waited for that thing to shift, and then it actually shifted, and then you were no happier, right? You may have, I would encourage you to reflect upon that if you have things in your life right now that you're saying, I cannot be happy until this changes. First, look back on all the other times that you had something in your life that you said, I cannot be happy until this changes, and notice if you were actually any happier after that thing changed, or if you just shifted the reason that you were unhappy onto something new when that other thing changed. Or you just kind of forgot about that thing and came up with a new reason why you were miserable, right? And this is kind of the conundrum of the human experience, is that we genuinely, fundamentally, fully believe that our way of being, that our capacity for happiness, that our capacity for joy, that our capacity for peace is based on our external circumstances. And what I'm telling you here is that that is completely untrue. That there is absolutely no external circumstance that determines that you must be unhappy. Okay? And so, literally, there is no physical thing that you can be experiencing that is saying you have to be unhappy while this is happening. There is no financial situation that can be happening to you that says you must be miserable while this is happening. There is no relationship status that you can be in that says you have to be suffering while this is happening. And so at this point you might be saying, well, what's the difference between my emotional guidance system giving me negative emotions and telling me this thing is wrong for me and accepting what is and being okay with everything? And I'm going to say, great question. Because there is a big, massive difference between an emotional guidance system alerting you to something and saying that I cannot be happy until this thing changes. Okay? So the distinction here is this. Unless and until you shift how you feel, more or less, your circumstances are not going to change. And this is the biggest key to understand that gives you all the freedom in the world, okay? And that is this. You get to choose how you feel about everything that is happening to you. Now, understand, okay, that if something is going on in your reality, so say you're in a job that you really hate, okay, and you're thinking, well, I think that this is my emotional guidance system telling me this job is not right for me, that I should be doing a different career, that I should be in a different place. And so you're saying, I'm not going to work on being happy in this job because I feel like this is my emotional guidance system telling me this is not the right job for me, so I should be unhappy here in order to get me to move. And what I want to say is this right here is where the whole crux of the thing happens, okay? What we really actually want to do with situations that our emotional guidance system is saying, blah, I don't like this, okay, is we want to take the situation and we want to fully accept it first, okay? So even if it is your emotional guidance system saying this is wrong for me and this job is wrong for me and I shouldn't be in this job and this is not the job for me forever, you still have to come to a place of accepting that right here, right now, you are in this job. This is the reality. This is what's happening. And you start to allow yourself to feel okay inside of that. Now, what do I mean by start to allow yourself to feel okay inside of that? So I'm going to give you the example from my own life, right? So I understand this, right? Because when I was back in the day, I was like in my body, and my body was not well. Okay, so it wasn't just the weight that was bothering me, right? It wasn't just that I felt like I was too heavy for my frame. It was also that I had all these digestive issues, and like my immune system was terrible, and like I had a lot of things going on with my physical body. And so, right, all of this culminated to me saying I cannot be happy until my body is healthy and better. And of course, no one would look at me and say, well, no, like you should just be happy with the fact that you're like kind of sick all the time and you're uncomfortable in your skin and blah, 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 right? But the truth was that, of course, right, being sick is not in alignment with my highest destiny, right? Being healthy is what is in alignment with my highest destiny. And so to sit there and say, I completely accept that I'm going to be sick forever, it sounds ridiculous, because it sounds like, well, that's not in alignment with my highest truth. That's not in alignment with my highest self. So I should feel shitty that I feel sick, right? But the trick here is that what I did, right, was I said, okay, no. This is the current reality, right? I am not healthy, right? I am not healthy in the way that I want to be healthy. I'm not fit the way that I want to be fit. I don't look the way that I want to look. And this is all true, but this is my actual reality. So the first thing that I said is like, I have worked really hard for a lot of years to try and change all of these things. I've tried to make myself healthier. I've tried to make myself thinner. I've tried to make myself all of these different things. And I was never able to get it done. So that's the first thing, is to notice that so long as you've been resisting this situation and saying, I cannot be happy until this thing changes, you've never been able to change it in a way that's actually served you to make you happy, right? That's the first thing to notice. So whether it's your health, whether it's your job, whether it's your finances, whether it's your relationship, notice that you've tried things. And maybe they worked for a little while, and maybe they worked a little bit, and maybe they kind of made shifts, and you were able to sort of make it, but you were never able to transform the thing so that you feel better, right? And that is the first thing to realize, is that you don't right now have the capacity to make it different. Because if you did, you would, right? So accepting first. You don't have the capacity right now. You don't have the tools. You don't have the awareness to actually make this thing different. This is how it is. No matter how out of alignment with your highest self it is, it doesn't matter. You don't know how to change it. Because if you did know how to change it, you would. So that is the first thing. Accepting that I don't know how to make this different. I have tried over and over to make this different, and I've never been able to do it, right? I've never been able to consistently make it different. So this is the reality. No matter how out of alignment with me that it is, this is the reality. And this is the magic in it, okay? Is that when you accept the reality, when you accept that you don't know how to change it, when you accept that it feels terrible, but you don't know what to do different, that is the first stage of relaxing into what is happening and releasing resistance. Okay? Because so long as you're telling yourself, no, but I can just do this, no, but I can just do this, maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try that, you're completely in resistance, and you're never going to learn from this experience what you're supposed to learn. The second thing is, even if this experience is completely out of alignment with who you are, even if this experience is like you're super, super sick, or you're super, super in a job that you hate, or you're in a relationship that make you miserable, you have to understand the second thing, is that this is here to teach you how to shift a low vibration to a high vibration. Okay? This is showing you what it feels like to be in a vibration that's out of alignment with who you are as source frequency, and knowing that we all take that on purpose. Every single one of us takes on density, takes on low vibration, takes on low vibrational density, takes on situations and things that are out of alignment with who we are, to give us an opportunity to transform those things, okay? So you accept that, yeah, I'm out of alignment with myself. I don't feel joy. I don't feel peace all the time. I don't feel great, right? I have these situations that physically, in my physical 3D reality, seem bad, seem terrible, seem like I'm doing this to myself, or I'm sabotaging myself, or why did this happen to me? I'm a victim to this, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, we all have that. And so you accept that is what is happening. You don't know how to change it. And the second thing is that it's there to teach you how to transmute vibration. That is the point. It's there for a reason. It's not there to hurt you. It's not there to harm you. It's not there to trip you up. It's not there to ruin your life. It is not the thing that once it is gone, you will be happy. Okay? It is the thing that's teaching you how to be happy. Okay? Third step is you start to find the joy in your current situation. All right? So if you need to kind of like ignore the actual problem in and of itself just for a little while to find the joy in the perimeter, that's fine. Okay? So what I'm saying is this. you start to shift your own vibration, not by ignoring what's happening to you, okay? So you still allow yourself to feel upset about what is actually happening. So if that's how you need to start this, okay? So it's not about pretending you don't feel like shit inside your body or pretending you don't feel like shit in your relationship. You acknowledge that, right? Again, you're acknowledging this is happening. I don't know how to change it. It's for my good, but I don't know why, right? I don't know how. I don't realize how this is helping me. Then you start to look for the joy in your life that exists independent of that, okay? And this is the hugest, most important step to take, is that you start to allow yourself to exist in a frequency of joy, even though this thing hasn't shifted yet, okay? You start to allow yourself at times and places in your day to exist in a frequency of joy, even though the situation hasn't changed. And this is key, all right? If you can start to do this, your whole world will change, all right? Start to allow yourself to exist in the frequency that you know matches who you are, okay? So if that means you have to imagine this situation changing to help you understand what that joy feeling feels like, do that, okay? So if you have to imagine yourself having your ideal body, imagine yourself having your ideal partner, imagine yourself having $1 million, imagine yourself having the ideal job, do that. But notice that what's really happening there is you're allowing yourself to feel in alignment with who you are. And that is what matters. And then take that, okay? Take that practice of knowing how to feel in alignment with yourself, in alignment with joy, in alignment with peace, that feeling of peace and freedom and joy and all that stuff that you want that you think you can't have until the situation changes, and start to apply it to the situation you have. And this is where the mastery comes in, right? So I literally would sit there and love the body that I had. I would allow myself to feel the joy and the freedom and the love for myself that I thought I wasn't allowed to feel until my body changed inside the body that I had. So even when I was sick and I wasn't feeling good, I allowed myself to feel joy inside of that sickness, okay? And I know this sounds like emotional mastery kung fu, and it is, but it is the key. You allow yourself to exist in the frequency of joy in the middle of your shit, in the middle of the thing that you hate. And this is what will change your life forever, okay? Because when you allow yourself to exist in your true frequency inside your terrible situation, number one, you will learn what that situation has to offer you, because you will finally stop being in resistance to it. You bring your high vibration to the density of the situation, and understand the situation is not who you are. The situation is not you. The situation is not permanent. The situation is the thing that you're learning to transmute, okay? So you allow yourself to exist in your true frequency within the circumstance. And then you will learn what that circumstance has to teach you. And then all of a sudden, all the options of shifting out of that circumstance will come into your consciousness. And I know that sounds, again, like magic, but you have to trust me on this, okay? So long as you're in resistance, you're never going to get out of it. It's always going to be the thorn in your side. So when you finally understand that you can be happy inside this thing, inside your terrible relationship, inside the terrible job, and that you have to be in order to move to the next thing, that you will not have the next thing, you will not have the joyful job, you will not have the joyful experience, you will not have the joyful body, you will not have the joyful relationship until you can be happy right here, right now. You will understand that the world is a reflection. This whole thing is just a reflection. That when you're in that shitty vibration, the world is going to keep reflecting that back to you, okay? When you're in the high vibration, the world is going to reflect that back to you, right? The circumstance will change itself, or you will know how to change it, or you will realize that you don't need to change it, and that you can be happy no matter what. Or it will be a combination of all of those things. So when you learn to raise your frequency to the frequency of joy inside the thing that you think is the biggest problem in your life, you will learn, you will grow, and then life will change. And until then, you will probably be stuck in it. Okay? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. I know this was a big teaching, right? to truly accept all of the stuff that's out of alignment with you, yeah, and find joy inside of it, because that's who you truly are, and then everything will reflect it back to you. But that's the truth. Okay? Yeah, I'll see you in the next video.